welcome. I haven't been here for a couple of days actually, and that's just mainly because there hasn't really been anything happening in the market. I haven't been alerted on my charts. I haven't been stopped out on any of my trades. So that's kind of a good thing, I guess, but there's no trades to take really. And that's how I see it really. If no alerts are going off or anything like that, then I know not to act. And that helps with the psychology of the market as well. Rather than always checking the charts, I can always just wait for my alerts to kick off. So nothing's been happening, but we're still in profits here. We're still in profits. I've taken the majority of my profits out on these trades. So either way, whichever way it goes, I don't actually mind. But let's have a look at the charts and see what we can see. So let's start with the king himself. Let's start with Bitcoin, the colossal titan. We're looking at Bitcoin here. I'm on a weekly time frame. You know what we'll do? Let's clean up this chart. Okay, because you know, if you was following some of my previous videos, what we were doing, we were charting all the way up here where we were taking profits. We were following this ascending triangle here. It met the top of the triangle target, it came back down, eventually met the bottom end of the target right here, and we've been trading that like a real G. So let's get rid of that now. We don't need to follow that anymore. Those two lines can go. I'm still going to hold this triangle here because if it's two trend lines there, I am going to leave this bear pennant here that broke down. I'll leave that in there, that's fine. And we've pretty much been going sideways. We've been going sideways since like December. So December all the way till today, we've been going sideways. So nothing's really been happening on Bitcoin, and that gives an opportunity for some of the altcoins and for some of the altcoins to show their weakness as well. So maybe we'll have a look at some of these altcoins as well. But to really see what's going on, we're gonna have to zoom in a little bit. But let's have a look here. Look where my trend line is. This trend line's really quite far from where we are, and this trend line is sort of acting like an EMA. Let me put it on the weekly for a second. Just want to see if I can neaten up this trend line a little bit. Okay, I followed it this way for a particular reason. Let's load up an EMA and let's see how it aligns. So the EMA, make sure my settings are on default, because usually my trend line here follows the 100 EMA. 100 exponential moving average, and it is, there we go, it's this blue line here. You can see it's following my trend line here. So if you're a person that likes to use EMAs, that's fine, and these are areas of interest that you can use to enter a trade if you like, but my trend lines usually follow the 100. And of course, if Bitcoin was to move sideways here for the remainder of the time, it's likely this EMA will start to come up, and it might align eventually with the 200 if we just like continue going sideways. So that might push up like this. But I prefer to just use trend lines rather than the EMAs, but feel free to use an EMA if you prefer. But let's switch these EMAs off. There we go. Zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom into the 4 hour and see what we can find. So yeah, let's look at the potential bullish and bearish scenarios that I'm looking at. So one of the things that I can see here already is a potential for an inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's not exactly clean, but it's there. There's also a bullish pennant, price going up into a triangle here, and that will probably give us a target. Draw the trend line from the bottom of the swing to the top of the swing and move this line out. So if Bitcoin was to break out here, it's got a target up to about 48k, okay, which actually lines up pretty well with the top of my monthly swing. So yeah, those are the cases. Those are like pattern based indicators if you was to use it that way. Can we see any sort of breakout here? It looks like it has broken out of the triangle. It looks like it's broken out of the triangle on the 4 hour, but let's see if it holds. So you can see it right here. We kind of got pushed down here, broke out, and it's trying to hold and keep above. I would really want to see it go above this 50% level here. So like to come up and hold here, that would be good. I'd like to see that for the bullish scenario. But as you know, I would prefer Bitcoin to drop down a bit further towards my trend line, but I'm not going to get what I want. I'm not always going to get what I want, but we have to prepare for it. We have to prepare for it. I've got to admit though, I don't like the fact that Bitcoin sort of broke out of its consolidation here. So if you imagine, if we're talking about Elliott wave theory, then it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we got an ABC correction in the wave 2, and then this is the wave 3, which is quite impulsive. I don't like the fact that we haven't come and back tested this monthly swing. I don't like the fact that we haven't retested this or the breakout area. I don't like it at all. So I'm very likely to stay out of this. I imagine I'm not going to be spot buying anything anytime soon, and I'm just going to kind of be looking for shorts. I'm going to be looking for some shorts. On the weekly, we have still not been able to break out of this 50% level. Okay, so from here to here, you know what? Let me fling on my template here. Where's my Levi template? There we are. That's got all the indicators I like to use. There we go. So we've got the zigzag, the Gantt swings, and the volume. Let's get rid of these EMAs. So there we go. So this 50%, this swing, you know, I like to back out my fibs. That swing comes from this low to this high, and you can see how great the 50% works. We came down, broke down, we're pushed up, and we're finding resistance here. Bitcoin needs to get above this. And that coincides with what I was saying before. Like, I want to see Bitcoin at least get above its 50% and consolidate up here on the shorter time frame. But if we were to zoom out on the weekly, we still haven't managed to claim this 50%. So the bears on the short-term time frame are a bit in control here. I don't like it for the bullish scenario. But hopefully we drop back down, so it's more like a ABC and a wave 4 correction. That would be nice. But let's see. I don't always get what I want. Where is the target if it does break down though? If it does break down, let's have a look at that. Let's back out our fibs again. We're going to get it from this swing low to that swing high. And there's our 50%. 50% is down here at 36.8. That's a good place. A deep retracement would be nice though. That would be ideal. But I've got, as you can see, I've got an alert here, which is somewhat in between. So that's fine. 35, just above 35k, because 35k is on the dot will be a good psychological level because it's a 35k flat. So I've gone just above it. Alert me if that happens. I should probably put another alert at 50%. That's what I'm going to do right now. Click on the side here, add an alert. So that's that. That will get alerted to my phone. Let's double click on that, make sure I'm aware of what it's going to be called. 50% buy question mark. Save that. Cool. All right, I'll be alerted on Bitcoin. Let's see. Let's have a look at some of these other altcoins while we're here. Ethereum. What's Ethereum doing? Okay. We're on a weekly on Ethereum. This trend line is far back as well. It's kind of doing the same thing, but it's holding above its monthly swing. So it chopping people in and out would be dope, you know. But a break underneath, I wouldn't really want to see it break and close and then close underneath here. That would be really bearish for Ethereum. Very bearish for Ethereum. But there's not much we can do until we just kind of got to wait for Bitcoin and wait to see what it does, really. Let me just scroll down the list here. Yeah, these altcoins don't seem to be doing that great. Here's some of the altcoins that I'm looking at to potentially jump in at some point in time. I've always wanted to jump into Neutron. Oh, wow, this thing's done nothing but go up, hasn't it? It's coming down to retest its 50%. Look how great these fibs work when you back out your fibs. Come up, retested on the 6-month golden ratio like a G. That would have been a great trade. I think I missed this one. Bounced back out, but it hasn't been able to break that high. So yeah, I'll continue to watch that. I don't think I'll be buying it anytime soon. Ordinals was probably done. Yeah, that's bonkers. San, Cedarfy, Solana. What's Solana doing? I haven't looked at this for a while. Let's have a look at Solana. Let me just switch my volume off for a second. Let's zoom in a little bit. Daily. Okay, so it's nearly reached its longer term 50% level, and I've obviously put in some of my indicators here. Here's the 50%, and it's on its 50% level right now. So let's see what it does. You could make this trade if you wanted to, if you was bullish on Solana, but I wouldn't make the trade until I know what Bitcoin's doing. So you do you, really. But maybe if it comes down for a deeper retracement, or if it does a sort of yeah, I would personally want to see it come down and retest this 50%, the major 50%, really. But it might be there might be a trade. There might be a trade. There might be a trade. Maybe you trade a 618. You know, you put a 618 trade for a long position, and it's about risk and reward, right? So where's your stop loss gonna go? You know, you might want to have your stop loss on this trend line here and making it back up to the weekly swing, and that's a 2.89 risk reward ratio, which is a good risk reward ratio. So you could do that. Maybe I might think about doing that. I'll see if I put an alert on there. Celestia. Everyone's been talking about this coin, isn't it? Let's zoom out on a weekly. What is this coin doing? Not much data for it. I very rarely trade coins that don't have much data to it. Heaven knows what I was what I was tracking here. Wow. Let's zoom out to the top, to the bottom. Look at that. You have to back out your fibs. Pushed out. 618. Carried on going. Yeah, that's gone. Coins are deemed fairly decent versus their Bitcoin value, but that's only on a short term. If you zoom out on the Bitcoin weekly value, what's this? ADA versus Bitcoin. I mean, look at this. Look at this. This is why having Bitcoin in your portfolio is just so important. This thing's just gone down ever since 2021. And we want to see it build some. We want to see it like consolidate for a while and then see a breakout, right? Because this is all energy. It consolidating is all energy. And we want to see where it breaks out. And then if it finally breaks out, that's the kind of stuff that you want to see. I think I was seeing that with Link. Where's Chainlink? Yeah. Chainlink was very interesting because it's had a long consolidation for such a long time, since May 2022. Just consolidating here, consolidating, and then a breakout, which is dope. 50% test, and away she goes. Okay, getting hit against the monthly swing. Look at that. Hit against the monthly swing up here. So yeah, when the bull market kicks in its alt season, then Chainlink's something you might want to consider. Maybe a retest of this weekly support right here, and that might be where you want to get in. See some strength. You zoom in on a 4 hour. So as long as the 4 hours showing a bit of strength, or the daily, and then you might want to get in, and then put your risk and reward on the lower swing down here, and yeah, you can trade that. You can trade that. Be a boss. Be like Levi. That's what I always say. So Chainlink versus its Bitcoin value on a weekly. Let's have a look at this. So you want to make sure your altcoins are beating Bitcoin. When it comes to this altcoin, they're showing strength against Bitcoin. Okay, they're showing strength. So back out my fibs. We still got this swing here. It's hitting its 50%. Okay, it's hitting its 50%. So that's some resistance right there. I like to sell resistance. So maybe you could think about swapping your Chainlink for some Bitcoin at this point in time. Or if you think it's going to run, you leave it, because we'll soon be entering altcoin season. Maybe later on down the year. That's what I imagine. Sol versus Bitcoin. Ooh! Sol looks nice versus Bitcoin. Look at that. Hitting its 50% resistance. Look at that. So maybe what you'd also want to consider is not only its dollar, not only the support on the dollar, but you'd want to see it kind of consolidate and hold above this 50% level here, that red one. You'd want to see it hold and build a bit of strength. If I saw something like that on Solana for the next couple of weeks, months, that would be dope. I'd consider swapping some of my Bitcoin for Solana and jump in and take the risk and reward. Well, measure the risk and reward. So yeah, that's just a brief update on some of this bits and bobs. I'm getting a couple of WhatsApp messages, so let's have a look and see what happens for the rest of the day. I know this video's gotten long and I'm rambling on a little bit. It's not that exciting, sorry, but Bitcoin ain't really doing nothing. The market ain't really doing nothing. It's not surprising, right? We just had ETF news. The only thing people's going to be looking forward to now is the Bitcoin halving, but we're just going sideways. But we'll continue to track. If I get any other trades, any other alerts that kick off, maybe I'll do another video, maybe do a live stream or something like that. But yeah, that's it. Have a good day.